here to talk about I'm Just Me. Is that a brand? And the brand you will become on the Impact Brand Doctor podcast with Rich Kozak. Check out these rich strategy nuggets that you can use right now. This is the Brand Doctor podcast with Rich Kozak. Here we positively uplift possibilities for your brand with straight talk you can trust. Does your brand need more clarity? Or maybe you feel stuck at the starting gate of the next level of your brand? Regardless, bring your vision and your challenges right here to the Brand Doctor podcast. Today, we are lifting up the brand journey of content strategist Robin Carter. So Robin is now transforming her business to serve women business owners at a higher level, relieving them of business overwhelm and making them more successful. Robin steps in to write and guide online marketing using strategic content that makes a business stand out and get credit for what makes them great and magnetically attract their ideal customers. No need for that in the world. Ha! Okay, Robin speaks to entrepreneurs about the power of strategic content. Robin Carter, I really believe in what you are doing. And I know that many of our listeners' businesses and perhaps their lives will benefit from what they hear today on this show. Welcome, my friend. I am so glad you're here.
Well, I want to say howdy from Ding Dang, Wyoming, Rich. I am so pleased to be here.
Well,
thank you for asking.
All right, let's go. Let's rock and roll, Rockin' Robin.
Okie dokie.
What was in your heart when you decided to transform your business to serve very busy women entrepreneurs who are ready for their brand to benefit from strategic content that's professionally written and help them drive their growth and their success? What was in your heart?
Well, I hear things like, I don't want to do this. I don't know how to do this. I don't have the time for this. That's where I come in. In my heart, I know it's me. I do have the skill. I do have the time, and I do have the desire to write the content that will move you forward.
So what is your vision of the impacts your work, your gift will have on those women entrepreneurs that you serve when your brand is thriving? What's that vision?
Well, what I see for them clearly is they trade overwhelm, all that business overwhelm, for growth and the fast track to the success that they desire with content.
All right. Well, obviously you're a woman of vision, a vision for them. Fantastic. What feels challenging when you think about branding? Because that's what we're here to talk about. When you think about branding your vision and branding you, what feels challenging to you?
I think the best way for me to express that is in the form of a question. And I'm going to read it because I don't want to miss anything with the thoughts that I put into that question or that statement. How do I clearly define who I am and what I do for my ideal who? That's my term of endearment for my people.
Okay.
In language that speaks to them in the best way for them to move them forward. Overcoming the barriers that they might have about the value that content has for them. And then how do I brand that, Rich?
Yeah. All right. So here's what I'm a little echo check here because there was a lot of words there.
Mm-hmm.
What I clearly heard was, how do I clearly define who I am and how do I brand what I'm bringing? Obviously, very, very common question. Any listener might have that question just like you do. So I'm going to tell you a story that will speak directly to this.
Okay.
It's about what you see for them. So my client, Suzanne, for years, decades, in fact, has been stepping into people's homes or businesses and shifting things so that energy flows and isn't blocked, and abundance flows and isn't blocked, and dysfunction turns into harmony in their home or business life. How do you brand that?
Yeah.
So you can talk like that and you might get somewhere, but for Suzanne, here's what was in the mind of her person she knew she could help and wanted to. They dreaded the move they had to make. They had to change jobs, change offices, change relationships. They just got divorced. They lost somebody. They're dreading. They had to move. They had to shift. And there's a next chapter, or they're stuck in the rut of existing environments. They're in the office. It's always the same. It's like, and at the home, they don't even feel comfortable and nurtured by their environment when they're at home or at work. And it's turned into a stuckness problem.
Mm-hmm.
And she clears and balances energy and shifts things. That is her gift. So here is the rich strategy nugget that you can take from that example. Your opportunity is to use in your words, your who's, the person you really want to help and really can help. For anyone listening, those target audiences that you are really clear that you can serve the best and you really want to use their careabouts to attract them. That's the rich strategy nugget. You can write that down. I'll define it. Use their careabouts to attract them. And I don't mean that very generally. I mean this very specifically. So here's your action item. Write this down. List your target audience's careabouts. What does it care about? It's a thought in their head, in their voice, that repeats fairly regularly and is relevant to what your brand does.
Mm-hmm.
In your case, Robin, I suck at writing copy.
Yeah,
I don't think this stuff is working. I don't have the time to do this right, and I don't even not even good at doing this right.
Exactly.
I want my business to grow. I don't even have time to breathe here. I really doubt I can actually do. Maybe I'm not cut out to be a business owner. Whatever those things are, it is in their voice, in their head, and it repeats relevant to what your brand does. And if you know one of your visions is you release them from overwhelm, and they're go right to care about that deals with that, and use their careabouts to attract them. You're a strategic content expert. So on your marketing hooks, whatever those marketing hooks are, whether it's an ad or a social media or the way you introduce yourself, the testimonials that you pre-write for people so that they can step into them and it uses your language, whatever they are, use their careabouts to bait.
It's a beautiful thing, Rich.
To bait your marketing hooks. Okay, so Robin, here's the next question. What about branding for you? Feels like a struggle. Felt like it in the beginning and maybe still does. What about branding felt like a struggle?
It's just me. And how do I brand that?
You're such a sweet person. It's just me, and how do I brand that? Okay, you know what?
How do I brand that?
So here's what I hear. It's just me. Is that a brand? Okay.
Yeah.
That is
exactly.
such a common thought among people who serve others. Good for you. So thank you for helping every listener who never needed to put that into words to put that into. Okay. All right. Here is something I have never done on my podcast, and I'm about to do it for you and everyone who's listening. Here's the story.
Yay.
Here's the story. I'm a gardener. I'm an organic gardener. So I was gardening 2 weeks ago, spreading compost. We do our own composting here, so we save all our organic stuff. And I was spreading compost over all the garden boxes, preparing to be planting the next generation of the next season of food. We grow food here. And there were a few scrubby looking plants that were still alive. There was an arugula plant. I could barely tell what they were. And there was a sweet Italian basil plant. So that was 2 weeks ago. 2 days ago, I walked down. Oh, and there was rain between then and now after I spread the compost. 2 days ago, I walked down to the garden. Bam! That arugula and the sweet Italian basil were bright green. They were super healthy, flourishing. Looked so good. I went right to them. They almost like, attracted me like a magnet. And I pulled off leaves and I tasted them. It's like, oh, they're so good. Have you ever heard a gardener say, it's about the soil?
Yes.
Oh, here is your rich strategy nugget. To have a rich, healthy brand garden, strategic content is the compost. It's the powerful soil of effective branding. And its execution, all those marketing things, yields clarity of identity and messages that magnetically attract those people who find value in those messages, your target audiences for whom those careabouts like go, and they attract your clients because it tastes it. They want to taste them, just like I wanted to taste that basil. So write this down. Here's your action item. Come on now, paint a word picture of the vision you see for your client thriving. Vision their brand garden when it thrives. Describe it flourishing. And Robin, dear, by the way, this works for you and your brand too.
Yes, it does.
I had to say that. So listen, I want you to own the metaphor of the garden. So here it is. And if any of you ever come to our one day special workshop intensive, it's right in the back with a picture. It says there's 7 steps. Number 1, take a piece of dirt covered with weeds, kind of like an entrepreneur whose copy isn't so good and their brand stuff and their messages are all over the place. There's your piece of dirt covered with weeds. You pull the weeds out by the roots if you can. In our brand parlance, it's you create congruence. You don't say things that aren't congruent with the brand champion's heart. It's got to be in congruence. And when it is, there's no conflict. Number 3, nourish the soil. Create authentic language that reflects what's in the heart of their brand. And there's your strategic content. Plant lots of seeds. That's integrated execution of marketing elements. Water it every day.
Mm-hmm.
Put your messages in the brand where your target audiences will find it, see it, experience, water it, send that water out there, and let God provide the sunshine, and you will have an abundant garden, an abundant business, an abundant life. In this episode of the Brand Doctor podcast, we have lifted up the brand journey of content strategist Robin Carter. who serves women business owners at a high level, relieving them of overwhelm and making them more successful. Robin speaks to entrepreneurs about the power of strategic content and how it can change the nature of your business success. Get Robin in to speak to your group. Don't even wait. You gained insight into visioning, painting a word picture of the vision you see for the client's brand garden when it thrives. And you gained insight into listing your target audience's careabouts and using them to bait your marketing hooks. You'll get contact info for our guest today in the show notes, so you can take advantage of all the brand that Robin has to offer. And even more information is available by emailing us at rich@richbrands.org. I want you to remember the Brand Doctor podcast is dedicated to bringing you strategies and action items to take your brand to its next level and take your thinking about branding to its next level. So from our heart to yours, we encourage you to subscribe to the Brand Doctor podcast and check out the other episodes for the other strategic nuggets and action items that you can take right now. And until you tune in to our next episode, remember, now is the time to define the brand you will become. Thanks for joining us.